Everyone wants to be a CEO until they realize what it actually takes. Everyone loves the idea of having a full business, posting about it, calling themselves a founder, being in control. But the truth is, building something from scratch will break you down before it builds you up. Hey, I'm Louisa, I'm 17, almost 18, and I run almost 2 businesses. And you're listening to LG Mindset Podcast. And today, I'm not here to motivate you with a fake success story. I'm here to tell you about the real side of entrepreneurship, especially when you're young, ambitious, and also doing it with a team. So this episode is really for anyone who thinks that starting a business is just about selling a product. It is not. It's about learning how to communicate, how to lead without forcing, how to trust people, and also how to deal with disappointment when things don't go the way you expected. So if you're someone who's building something, dreaming big, or even struggling to keep your team aligned, this one is for you. So first of all, building a business is not just about passion. Let me be honest with you. Creating a business, it is not easy. It takes time, energy, and most of the time, more patience than you think you have. I always used to think that if I had the right idea and I was motivated enough, things will just go, I would say, in a good way. But reality hits really different because there are deadlines, there is pressure. You're constantly trying to improve yourself, to improve also your team. And the truth is, sometimes you really get overwhelmed, really, really a lot. Especially when you're juggling with school, life, and everything else. Because from my side, I have school. I get up at 5 a.m. I go to school because I live really far away from my school. Then I work and I need to revise for my tests and stuff. And then I have at least 2 hours per day where I work for my businesses and also my podcast and everything. And to be honest, it's really overwhelming. I had so many crash outs. Yesterday, I cried because I couldn't anymore. With my team, there was something up and stuff, and it was the same issue. And sometimes I really struggle because, like I said, I'm someone who is very calm, who has a lot of tolerance, I would say, a lot of patience. But when I tell you 3 times in a nice way and you still don't understand and you still want to basically do whatever you want and not respect others in your team because you're not the only one, this gets me mad. And then I crash out. Not with them, I crash out in my side because for me, I do not tolerate when someone crashes out in the team. So I won't tolerate also for me crashing out in a team because that's called respect. But whatever. What makes it even harder is really when you're doing it alone. To be honest, what it makes it even harder is when you're doing it alone, there is first of all, this one side where you can do whatever you want. You can decide whatever you want. You do whatever you want. And that's the most easiest part. But it is a lot more complicated because you have so much work to do. I have one business, LG Mindset, where I do it alone. And it is much more complicated than I thought, to be honest. It's been 1 year since I'm doing podcast. It's been a few, not even a month since I'm doing also the podcast on YouTube and stuff. I'm doing a whole rebrand of LG Mindset. And to be honest, it comes to a certain point where it gets really, it's a huge struggle because I do alone the editing, I do alone the marketing, I do alone everything, and it becomes really, really, really a struggle. Because I also see that my business isn't growing up as fast as I want it because doing it alone, it's really much complicated. But then you have the second side when you're with a team. I love my team because I have a second business. It's called Elegantly Safe, and I have a second, I have a team with it. We are 4 girls in it, and it's really cool. But sometimes you really struggle because as a leader, it's much more complicated to basically tell them sometimes what to do or things like that. I'm someone who, it's not because I'm the leader that I'm going to have the whole power or I'm going to be I think I am the best. This is a big no for me. I do not think I am the best, or I do not think I have the a lot more rights and stuff to talk to a certain way or something like that because I'm a leader. I'm sorry, but we're all humans. We all need to have the same respect towards everyone. Even if you're a CEO, even if you're a leader, it doesn't change the fact that you always need to have respect towards everyone. And this is the thing that I do not tolerate at all in my team. Everyone must respect everyone. You can have times where you crash out. You can have times where, like in your personal life, it doesn't go well. This is completely fine with me, and I'm not someone who is going to judge you. I'm someone who is going to ask you, do you need help? Do you want to talk about it? Do you need space? Like, I can do the work for you. Like, that's fine for me, And that's always something that is really important for me. It's always to be nice with my team because they're also humans. We are all humans. But I do not tolerate when someone who has zero respect, who thinks they're better than anyone, this is something I don't want to in my business. And this is something you don't want to in your business. Because, like I said, working with a team, it is beautiful. You're building something together. You have people to support you. But it's also really complicated. Because you have, to be honest, you really have to deal with different personalities. Some people are super motivated. Others, not so much. Some communicate it clearly. Others stay quiet and let tension grow. And that is really wrong. Because you need to realize how important clear communication, mutual respect, and real trust are in whatever business you have. And people always tend to say, just find a good team, just find a better team. But they don't tell you what happens when someone doesn't do their part. Or when you have to give feedback without sounding rude. Or when you feel like you're carrying the whole project by yourself. But it is important for you to tell yourself that it doesn't mean because you're a leader that you can do whatever you want, that you can crash out of everything. It doesn't mean because you are a leader that someone in the group cannot crash out. They can crash out because they're also humans, and that's something you really need to understand in whatever group you are. And it can also be like a group project. But this whole podcast is really about being a leader and being a CEO and what it takes to be a CEO, because it is not just a product, the idea, or selling something. It is the whole thing behind it. So yeah, like I said, really every group, every team, every single business naturally has someone who leads. This is natural. Sometimes it is pretty obvious. Other times it happens without even trying. I've always had, to be honest, this leadership energy, not to control people or boss them around, but to guide them. That's something completely different. Since I was little, like I was like 13, I love to organize things, bring people together, push the group forward, and understand them, understand their needs. But being a leader, it doesn't mean you're always right. You need to have an open mind. It means you're willing to take responsibility when things go wrong. It means listening, even when you disagree. And it means staying calm when everyone else is panicking, because that means you have the power. It means you have the power to calm the business down. Not the power towards people. No, the power of the business. Because leadership, it is not about doing everything. It is about creating clarity, setting the tone, and most importantly, leading by example. And then comes the fourth part. What I've learned so far. Because let me share some things I've learned a lot from building businesses and leading teams, because that's what I do all the time in my school. First of all, be real with your team. Don't fake positivity. If there's a problem, talk about it early. Avoid conflict only makes it worse. Avoiding conflicts really makes it worse, to be honest. Like, since 2-3 days, I have like a little conflict in the group about like something that is not going as it needs to go. And what I told myself is, we're going to make a call this Sunday. I'm going to talk personally with every single one of the team and to try to understand them. If personally I don't really necessarily agree, it doesn't mean that it is wrong. It means that I also need to stay open-minded. Second, know when to take a break. Burnout is real. It can really destroy your creativity and your relationships if you ignore it. Personally, I had a crash out yesterday. I had a crash out Monday, and I had like 2 crash outs this week. I had I think 3 crash outs last week. I had a burnout last week. I couldn't go to school because I was just really tired. I couldn't anymore. And this, please do not ignore it, because it can really get really worse and you don't want it, and you don't want to see it. 3, leadership is earned, not claimed. Just calling yourself a CEO doesn't mean nothing, because if you're not showing up for your people and your vision, you do not deserve to be called a CEO or leader. And last one, do not expect perfection. You're going to make mistakes. Your team will too. What matters is how you handle it, because everyone makes mistakes. So if you're in a season where your business or your project feels like a mess, breathe. You're not behind. You're learning in real time, and the challenges you're facing are not there to stop you. They're shaping you. Don't lose your confidence just because things aren't go smoothly. Leadership, it isn't about control. It's about courage. So keep showing up. Even when it's hard, take a break if you need it. Your vision is valid, and the fact that you even starting means you have something in you. Means you have something in you that not everyone does. So if this episode resonated with you, send me a DM on Instagram on LG Mindset, or share it with someone who needs to hear this. And just a quick little reminder, you're not alone on this path. And remember, it's okay to work in progress, especially when you're building something big. So if you like this podcast, you can always like on YouTube or subscribe. And if you're on Spotify, you can always leave a little rating. Thank you very much. It was Louisa Jazar on LG Mindset. Bye!